drive things off the wall.
That's us, man. 24/7.
You should expect the unexpected. I mean,
Make it known that this is all about being 100% authentic.
We are live now.
So with that being said, let's jump right in.
As we move on to MA'KHIA Bryant, right? And I'll bring in Adam Toledo at the same time because I feel like these two cases are MA'KHIA Bryant in Columbus, Ohio. Columbus, Ohio is a police department that is rife with issue and questionable shootings. Yeah, questionable actions. They killed a man, wasn't in the Walmart or something like that parking lot. Dave Chappelle talked about it in his stand-up. Or inside a Walmart. Yeah. And the same cop that killed that guy, Dave Chappelle says in the stand-up, gave him a ticket earlier.
Earlier that day.
Yeah, earlier that day or earlier that week or something like that, right?
Yeah.
So Columbus has its own issues. Chicago, we all know the issues with the police up there in Chicago. But when we think about those two cases, these cops are going to get off. Bottom line. I mean, like it or not, they're going to walk.
Well,
and here's why I say this. And I believe this firmly, not because I feel like they should, but they're going to walk because there were weapons involved. There's no question whether or not the weapons were involved. The only question becomes, did they have to kill these people? Did you have to kill them? But that's the thing. There is no charge.
Well, let's dive deeper.
Have to.
Let's dive deeper into the twos. Let's talk about the fresh one right now, which is MA'KHIA Bryant, which happened yesterday. So as the verdict was happening and as everything was going on in Minnesota, you have everything going down in Columbus, Ohio. So, what makes this interesting is how it actually came out at first. Before the body cams was actually issued, the way it came out was, MA'KHIA Bryant actually was the one who was calling the police for help. And she had it and they said she had a knife and she got shot. But the way the narrative was framed at first, it made it seem like she was the one actually calling for help.
Yeah.
They said she was defending herself. Now, whether she was defending herself or not, this is a question I asked y'all earlier. Was that her house? I mean, I know she's in foster care, but was that where she's staying?
Don't know.
Right. But that's what I'm saying. So here's the thing. Here's my thoughts on it. If that's where she was staying and these girls, we know how young kids are. She's 16 years old. Yep. Young kids they show up at the house. For some reason, they think this is a smart idea. I think that's the dumbest. Any young person listening, that's stupid. Stop doing that. All right. You pull up on somebody's lawn, you're liable to catch all the smoke that you almost caught with this young lady. And she would have been well within her rights because you came up on her property, right? Threatening her. It's two of y'all and one of her, right? She got to defend herself. Now, whether or not she went overboard with the knife, I don't know. We'll never be able to tell that story because it ended so horrible, right? Yeah. But if that's her house, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but for me, it goes even deeper, right? Like what has happened in her life that she has that much rage that you could you can bring a knife to potentially kill someone. Right?
Two people showed up at her house to fight her. Let's just say that's why I don't know.
Well, and that's my concern about it because there's so many moving parts to this. We really don't know what it is because as the story continues to come out, you find out that the 911 calls have other people saying so MA'KHIA Bryant has a knife and she's trying to kill us.
Right.
Then when you see the video of one of the police officers, you see dude pulls up out of his car. He's trying to figure out what's going on. You see MA'KHIA putting hands on one girl or woman or whatever.
She put the paws on that young lady.
She put the paws on her, gets up, proceeds to go to the other woman who's standing by the car with a dog in her hand. Meanwhile, you got a dude who I guess was down with Team MA'KHIA kicking the woman.
I'm like,
pumping the woman.
Right.
There's so many things going on. But when it came out, my boy, Walt, how
Sean King.
My boy Sean King. That's I say it again, he put it out there, like, kill Whitey, defund the police, kill this man. And this is the thing I always say. If you don't know the whole story, you can't really go and jump off and fire off the handle.
Clickbait.
This seems to me like one of them fire off the handle joints.
Yeah.
Again,
I'm always very reluctant to reshare those stories because I just feel like there's more to it.
Yeah,
you always want to wait to find out what else is going to be said. What else is, not that anybody's background has anything to do with what's going on. That's obviously not what I'm saying. But what's happening at this, like, how did everybody get, it was so many people there. It was so many adults. It was like, what were you adults doing? What were y'all doing?
There's so much going on.
But so here's the thing, right? Here's my thing. That's a situation where the time that we're living in right now, the social media body cam, police brutality against Black and brown bodies is at its peak, right? It's not new, but it's at a peak. Everybody is paying attention to it. That is news. If a Black person is assaulted by a white authoritative figure, it's making the news. It does not matter, right?
Right.
So that's what that was. That was clickbait. It was clickbait in the sense that you're gonna look. Anybody could post that, whether it was Sean King or whether it was anybody else. Like I saw a bunch. Kerry Washington posted about it. Commons posting about it. Say her name. Yeah, say her name. Say her name. I get it. This young lady should not have died. She should not. Right. But I'll say to y'all now on the recording what I said to you earlier.
Okay. Go ahead.
There's two sides to this story that I'm looking at. If I'm the family of MA'KHIA Bryant, I'm hurt. Whether she's my foster child or not, I'm hurt because you took her life. I'm hurt. She shouldn't have died. That's how I feel, right? I can come up with a million reasons why she was a good person. Mm-hmm. But if I'm the family of that young lady in the pink, I am having a real hard time with being angry and calling for that cop's head. I'm having a hard time because as far watching that video footage, it looked like you saved
her life.
Yeah. You saved her life. You saved my daughter. I got an 18-year-old daughter. Dev, you got an older daughter. I can't see that and feel like, yo.
Yeah, because you can see like when they like the videos are out now, when they pause and you see she's ready to.
Yeah, she's ready to.
She's ready to jail.
Yeah. Yeah.
So let me ask you this, because you said something that I am struggling with. You said she didn't deserve to die.
No.
Right. No. Now, I'm going to ask this question, and it's going to be a tough question to ask. And, I may get a lot of slack for it, and that's cool. Where do we draw the line with law enforcement for them to do what they need to do in terms of serving and protecting? And the reason why I say that is because of this. When you look at that video and see what's going on, this young lady, unfortunately, looked like she had every intent to cause physical harm to the point of damn near death to this other young lady. So somebody can ask, well, yeah, you could have tased her. Well, yeah, possibly, but the way the adrenaline was kicking, there's a possibility that woman still would have been able to get a couple of stabs off. Another question, somebody else could have raised a point like, all right, well, look, you could have shot that person in the limb. True indeed. However, in terms of the sense, the heightened sense of situation that was going on, who's to say that you was who's to say you're going to be able to get a clean enough shot to subdue this person?
Right.
Yeah.
So where do you draw the line at in terms of using your firearm? What's going on here?
Go ahead, Crystal.
I was just saying my point of view. I'm with both of you on this. I guess I was thinking like, why did they have to shoot her
so many times?
4 times.
Right.
And so I was talking to my really good friend who's a police officer. And, I said that to them and they were like, honestly, Crystal, when we are practicing and training and we're, and they're creating these kind of scenarios in the training, they were like, you don't really know that you're shooting that many times when you're in that type of.
Right.
in that type of situation.
You don't know. You don't know. And I'll say this, right? Crystal's having a little bit of technical difficulties. So I'll say this.
But situation.
So Crystal, we lost you. You got stuck, so you got to run it back. When you were saying the part where you got caught was that you don't really know how many times you're actually shooting when you're in a situation like that.
And that's what she said. She said that, you know, I've been in training thinking I shot 2 times, and they were like, nah, you shot 8.
Right. So, and here's the thing, right? And I told y'all this. Guns are not meant to wound. That's what tasers are for.
Right.
If I'm pulling out my firearm, my intention is to completely eliminate the threat. I'm not looking to shoot a leg.
You don't pull out just for.
You don't pull out. I'm not pulling out to show and to intimidate. No. If I have to pull out, seriously, if I got to pull out, and this is why that always has to be a last resort for me. If I have to pull my firearm, just know I'm not shooting with the intention of you walking home to tell your version of events.
Yeah, but
hold on. Go ahead, D. Go ahead.
I feel like there's a disparity when firearms are pulled out.
100%. I agree.
That's the issue I have, right? So in cases where there's been, you know, white individuals with knives charging at police,
they still don't shoot.
And don't shoot them.
And the person ended up arrested or walking away.
Right. I do not disagree.
You're right. Let me ask you this, D, because that point is a great one, and we've seen it on video.
Seen it. We've seen the cops run away.
We've seen cops run away. In this case, though, could you say that this cop really was thinking like, yo, I'm trying to save this other young woman's life?
Save somebody's life.
I get that. You know, I'm if that was my daughter, if my daughter was the other one and this young lady had the knife, that do what you got to do to make sure that my daughter don't get stabbed or
make
killed.
Sure my baby come home to me.
Yeah.
Make sure. Now, I can't say he's justified. Cannot say he's justified. Why did I say that she didn't deserve to die? Because Dev, you said, well, where do we draw the line at, right?
Yes.
She didn't deserve to die because she's 16 years old and she just does not know any better. Clearly, this young lady has had a traumatized existence. Who is that cop to make the decision that her life has to end right here, right now? That's not his decision to make, right?
So what was he supposed to do?
No, I'm not. I'm not saying that he needs to be lynched for his actions. I'm not saying that. He made a decision that, am I going to sleep well with it? No, because again, this young Black girl lost her life, and that sucks. It really does, because at 16, you have an opportunity for redemption, period. Right. You have an opportunity for redemption. So that sucks. But what I'm saying is he had to make a decision.
Yes.
Right. He had to make a decision. He made the decision that he felt was best at that time. Right. He saved at least 2 lives, at least.
Yeah.
Right. Now, Derek, to your point, I agree. We've seen a million times cops can disarm, disengage, and talk down people, you know, who are in the process or potentially about to harm other people. I personally have never witnessed a cop talk somebody down in the middle of an action like that, white, Black, or indifferent. I've never seen that. Usually the person they're talking down is at a paused point, right? They're not actively shooting at somebody. They're not actively harming another person. They may be about to, but there's nobody immediately near them who is in the process of being harmed. I've never seen a cop talk somebody down like, whoa, before you stab him, hold on, let me talk to you. Never seen that happen, right? Could he have jumped on her and grabbed the knife and did whatever? Yeah, he could have done all of that. He possibly could have, but then he puts himself in that.
And would that have been enough time?
Again,
considering, you know, how close she was.
All of those what ifs. You could toss all those what ifs out there.
I think that he came there ready to do whatever because of the call that someone was there with a weapon.
Somebody was there, and the call that one of the 911 calls
is that not
trying to kill us?
Is that not unreasonable? Is that not unreasonable for any cop? You get a call, hey, there's somebody out here with a knife trying to kill me. Do you not go there with the intent of, okay, this is about to be live action?
this is, you know, assault with a deadly weapon. You know,
Yes.
Yeah,
this is the mindset you got to be in. So Duke, you know, with knowing that, you know, what say you?
yeah, and I felt like he had to do what he had to do to protect the other individuals in that situation, and I think that was the right thing to do. I just, you know, to Walt's point in terms of this being a 16-year-old, and you know, and brain capacity and development and trauma and all that stuff. It's no excuse to try to harm somebody or kill somebody.
No.
You know, I just think, you know, I don't know. I just think we got to do, you know, a better job in our community. I think, like, you know,
because in this case it's deeper than
right.
just
I think she needed mental health support for all the trauma and everything that she went through so that, you know, she would know how to process her anger. Right. And she wouldn't gotten to the point to where, you know, she took a knife out there. And I know in those situations you're in a fight and flight mode, right? Mm-hmm. So reasoning with somebody at that point, or trying to get them to, you know, or telling them, you know, drop a knife, a lot of that, they're not hearing a lot of that, right? Right. So I understand the cop had to do what he had to do.
All right, so let me ask you this, right? Because again, I refuse to defend the cop. I won't do that because you still took a life. You took a young Black life at a time when it's probably the worst time to do it, right?
Right.
This is the worst time to do it. So I can't defend you. I won't defend him for that. You know, I won't even go as far as to say he was justified. I won't say that. But what I will say is, we know how dysfunctional the foster care system is. We know how dysfunctional inner city services are for children who are marginalized in our society, right? At what point are we going to say, because we always say the community got to step up, the community got to do a better job. Well, if the community is not able because the resources are not there for the community, right? When do we look at the whole system? Now, this is something that Common said that I did like. We now see the system does not work. We have to destroy the system. See, I feel like MA'KHIA Bryant is a product of a system that is designed to keep Black and brown bodies in that place to where you can be immediately judged and executed by law enforcement, because you cannot think in a capacity, whether you're young or old, you just can't think in a capacity where you can see a future for yourself.
Right.
Well, it works who is supposed to work for.
But that's what I mean. That's why he said destroy the system.
Right. So the thing is, you know, like when you think about it, right, and it all goes, we talk about this in the school system, right? So we look at data and we see a lot of the students who are suspended, or a lot of students who have chronic absenteeism. The correlation there is a lot of those students are also the ones that are economically disadvantaged, right? So if you put a people in desperate situations, and it's social Darwinism, if you think about it, right? It's survival of the fittest. If I take the resources or keep the resources away from you, I put you in an environment where you got to do whatever you got to do to survive, right? And what does that create in your environment, right?
Right.
Competition, right? You know, it's which leads to robbing, steal, you know, a lot of things. It leads to desperation, right? So at the end of the day, the issue is, and we see this in city to city, in Black communities and neighborhoods, they're starved economically, and those are a lot of the neighborhoods where you see high crime, high violence. But what can you? I don't expect too much different, right? You put all of us in a cage, right, with one piece of meat, and we got to survive. We're gonna get to the point to where you know what I mean, like
we can't split the meat. Pause.
That's what I'm saying. I said, wait a minute.
Oh my God.
It's always family. Because I immediately was thinking,
I was where you was.
I'm
clearly,
clearly
Derek is trying to snuff us out.
I'm thinking like, if I'm stuck in a room with the four of y'all and it's one piece of meat, again, pause. I feel comfortable in knowing that I don't have to eat first because y'all not going to eat it all.
Let's figure this thing out.
Let's figure this thing out.
Derek, like, yo, F y'all.
Now we know.
Listen,
now we know.
Yeah.
30 things off the wall, family. Y'all know.
Listen, how long is it? Right? How 30 days? Right? Let's say we're there for 30 days. How long is that? How long is that meat?
Right. I trust and believe that all of our educated brains could come up with a plan to sustain ourselves that does not involve us killing each other.
But to Derek's point, after an extended period of time, what happens?
Right. Stress kicks in.
Everything.
Delirium.
Yeah, everything kicks in, depending on the circumstance and the situation.
Right. So
Derek, he was just so fast to pull the trigger though.
Real quick, like you jumped out the gate with that. That's concerning to me. That's concerning to me.